Wow, how many of these are we going to have this season? Welcome to the PHLY Sixers postgame show, live from the Xfinity studio, along with Rich. I'm Devon Bree, the president of basketball operations. All of you in the chat, we are presented by Bet365, whatever the moment. It is never ordinary when it comes to your basketball team. Make sure you check out Bet365, and when you sign up, use code PHLY365. Again, Rich, Devon Bree. We'll check in with Kyle Neubeck and Derek Bodner. Hopefully, it's really busy down there, especially after a stunner of a night once again in South Philadelphia at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Sixers fall last second, 117-115, with an opportunity to tie the game, send it to overtime, or to simply get a stop when it was tied at 115. But because Jaylon Tyson had a career night, and I mean a career night, for 39 points, could not miss from the floor. Tyrese Maxey with another off night that we have to discuss against this Cleveland defense. So it wasn't just Tyson's offense. Defensively, he did it again as a two-way player, frustrating the heck out of Tyrese Maxey. So much to get to here tonight. We will also have for you this evening the big takeaway and the unsung hero on this evening for the Philadelphia 76ers. But as always, we have to begin with the main thing.
Devon, I thought the Sixers did a lot of good things in this game, but it was undone by the last 3 minutes. It would have been good. Hey, you withstood the Jaylon Tyson just an avalanche of three-pointers, and yeah, some of those were open. Some of those were not open, though, guys, and some of those are runners at the end of the shot clock, and some of those are relocation threes. Really, really tough last few minutes. And I would say this, too. I thought Cleveland won this game on, like, the edges. I thought for the majority of this game, Sixers half-court execution, both with their defense, doubling Donovan Mitchell and playing more aggressive, and then getting Joel Embiid involved, and the two-man game was a lot better tonight. Normally, you should win that game, and I understand Cleveland made some shots, but Cleveland won this game on like the margins, and there are a few ways I mean that. Number one, Sixers transition defense, they just give up too many easy ones. It's just too many easy ones. That DeAndre Hunter layup at the end of the game, like Cleveland was not giving those up. Cleveland was giving those up with turnovers when the Sixers were executing, but they're not. Sixers take a bad shot and it's just Cleveland. It's a breakaway on the other end. So that's part of it.
Yep.
There was a stretch at the end of the first quarter where Tyrese Maxey was really the only scorer. He needed to stay afloat for a few minutes because Joel Embiid is normally the guy who's going to play minutes with him. And he's not going to play as many minutes in the first half as the second half. So it was a Tyrese Maxey-led lineup for a few minutes at the end of the first quarter. 8-0 run for Cleveland, where Tyrese Maxey takes 4 really, really bad shots, and Cleveland closes a big gap. There was a few minutes where VJ Edgecombe and Paul George both combined for a few turnovers. Another 8-0 run. So I just thought the Sixers, there were a lot of things. We talked about cleaning up the issues from the other night, particularly with, getting up in Cleveland's ball handlers and making them work. I thought they did that for long stretches of tonight's game. Cleaning things up with offensive execution. I thought they did that for long stretches of tonight's game. But there were enough things that the Sixers just let go of the rope and just minor things that they did really poorly allowed Cleveland to stay in the game. Let's be real. Cleveland shot 50% from beyond the arc, by the way. I'm not blaming this all on the Sixers. They shot 17 of 34 from beyond the arc. And what did Tyson shoot? 13 of 60 or 17?
13 of 17, 7 of 9 from 3, 6 of 6 from the foul line.
He was awesome tonight.
Unbelievable.
But I'm not putting that all on the Sixers. It's just a frustrating one, man. And I guess we can talk a little bit about the last few minutes of the game, right? Because I think Tyrese Maxey is going to be the guy that everybody talks about in tonight's game. And I thought Tyrese had a strange game tonight because you can point to a couple things that were really positive throughout. Number one, defense. Was getting in passing lanes, Sixers doubling Donovan Mitchell, and he created offense by, gambling and getting into the right spots. Really nice job by him on defense for a lot of this game. Number two, I thought his connection with Joel Embiid until the last few minutes was really, really good. And some of that is Joel rolling to the right spot, a short rolling to the right spot, but they were on the same page the entire night, and Maxey was assertive and getting him the ball. Those two things were really good all night. Tyrese, like his decision-making in transition, his ability to run backup units, his scoring, his just three-point shooting, all the rest of that stuff was terrible the entire game. So another down game for him, but a weird game because there were some things he did well. And I thought this was going to be a story of Tyrese Maxey overcoming a difficult game because Joel Embiid checks back into the game, 102-102 in the fourth quarter. And by the way, it's Groundhog Day all over again where Joel Embiid is plus $1 million and the Sixers are playing a close game in this one. But Tyrese Maxey, during that stretch, he misses a pretty easy floater. Then he gets a steal and scores in transition, puts him up 2. Then he finds Kelly Oubre for a 3 out of a pick and roll, puts him up 5. Then he finds Embiid with the lefty wraparound pocket pass. Great job. An example of what I'm talking about where just felt like those two were in sync the entire night. And then on the next possession, he rejects the screen and goes step back on Tyson and makes it. And I thought, wow, what a great response to what has been a rough game. Unfortunately, the execution down the stretch from Tyrese Maxey and the rest of the Sixers was not great because the next two possessions, Tyrese throws a lollipop pass getting doubled in the pick and roll, and Joel has to go to the floor and tie Cleveland up. That's basically a turnover on that one. And then the next one, too wide of a driving lane. We have seen that a few times. Evan Mobley has enough time to get over and block that shot. So again, and I would say mostly a down game for Tyrese Maxey as a scorer. He did some other good things as well. I just wish he would have executed a few more plays down the stretch. Wasn't just him. Kelly Oubre misses a wide open 3 down the stretch. Paul George misses. It felt like such a good shot. It
was his shot.
A little turnaround 10-footer. He had just made a few of those on the baseline.
Yep.
Tough ones there. So just a roller coaster night for Maxey.
Yeah, really tough one, man. And on that play that you talk about where Tyrese Maxey made that step back jumper, and that's when I looked at you and Bree and said, you take what they give you. Everything is being defended really well behind the 3.9. They're not allowing you to catch that on the move, on the catch, on the handoff, anything. So if that's the case and they're going to overplay like that, step up in this moment and try something different. He did. He got to the line. He got to the rim, made a tough layup there. Also got to the free throw line on one. In transition, kind of downhill, got Jared Allen on his back, and as a result, what did he do? He got fouled. His feet got caught up in the body of Jared Allen, gets to the free throw line, makes both of those. And then that fadeaway, that step back jumper that he took over Tyson, who again had defended him really, really well, he makes that one. So again, as Rich is saying this, a night where he shoots 9 for 24 from the floor, there were still a lot of good things, especially down the stretch where we were talking about, you know what? Overcoming a bad night, scoring once again for the second consecutive game, but he figured some things out thereafter to make sure that he maintained his composure, stayed in it, didn't get lost and frustrated, hadn't put his head down. He fought through it and made those shots. He got the 9 assists. He picked up the 5 steals that he had. He had 2 blocks as well out there and only turned the ball over 2 times on the night. Defended well as he was against that Cleveland defense. But unfortunately, when they did need it at the end, you know, it was just pretty much what was highlighted all evening long of the tough shot making and what he just didn't have there at the end. The Paul George shot there on the baseline, the weird one that Joel had to just throw from the corner, and it was, I don't know what the hell that one was.
That was a bad shot.
Where he got stuck in the corner and just threw it up. And I understood that the shot clock was winding down, but he just threw it up. I don't know if he thought someone was going to catch it as an alley-oop opportunity, but when you have Mobley and Allen down there, that's not going to be something pretty easy. So another tough nail-biter, everybody, as we see this one. And for a good portion of this game, you knew, again, Darius Garland out. They played without him for so much. We mentioned Craig Porter Jr. in the beginning of the pregame show. We didn't even mention Jaylon Tyson. We might have mentioned him just in general, but we didn't mention him as one that, hey, you're going to have to really defend him. You're going to have to get up on him. And I thought that guys just have hot nights. I got the hot hand. I'm in a zone. I'm going to make everything. That's fine. those things happen. He had the Donovan Mitchell type of night where Donovan Mitchell only finished with 13 points on 13 shots. But with that, it's over. He goes off for 39. Pickett goes off for his career high when the Nuggets are shorthanded. And it's not as if the Sixers didn't have we asked for them to start much better in this one, to get out to a much better start. And it was 31-31 after the first, but they put up 62 in the first. They led in the first half. They led at halftime. They had a decent enough third quarter, and they were up in the fourth quarter where you looked at it and said, you know what? They're going to find a way. And we've seen them find ways all season long, but this one was just frustrating, Rich, again, of how it happened with the 50% shooting from the Cleveland Cavaliers, almost 50 for the Philadelphia 76ers, but just the little small things, everybody, that Rich was talking about. That's how you lose games, and that's how you lose some close ones. And the Sixers lose yet another crunch time game, and a nail-biter, a frustrating one where they don't settle the score. They are now down 3-0 in a 4-game season series. So any tiebreaker in the end goes to the Cleveland Cavaliers when it comes to the standings at the end of the season. And the last game was a blowout. This one they were in. So as you just pointed out, this one hurts.
It's just like random.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
The turnovers. The Sixers were turning them over at a pretty high rate tonight for 18 points. They got a lot of points off of those turnovers, but that DeAndre Hunter breakaway layup, it wasn't even a breakaway layup. Joel just didn't turn around as the guys were backpedaling. He's trying to find and locate Jared Allen or Evan Mobley, and DeAndre Hunter's coming down the floor. Off those turnovers, the Sixers were able to get 32 points off of turnovers that the Cleveland Cavaliers turned the ball over. The Sixers were able to get 32 points off of that. I thought that was also going to be a big difference, Rich, for the Sixers tonight. Instead, the Cleveland Cavaliers picked up 15 off the Sixers' 11 turnovers where they protected the basketball. But in the end, the little small things that you pointed out, I'm sorry to cut you off, come to bite them back at the end of the game.
I'm going to add another thing, too. Like, man, how about that Donovan Mitchell corner three where Paul George just, like, lost him? And yeah, he finally makes a contest because he's way behind the play on that one. It's like, man, that's Donovan Mitchell. Like, I will say, Donovan Mitchell, they did a really good job against him, and we'll talk about that a little bit in the next segment, about they made a huge adjustment where they just said, we're going to double him more than you double most NBA players, and we're going to live with it on the backside, and we'll try to scramble out of it and make some athletic plays, and I thought they did a good job turning him over. When we look at some of the three-pointers that Mitchell hit in the fourth quarter, the first one, they were trying to double him, and Mitchell hits Bona with just a nasty crossover dribble into a step-back three. That's one where you say, fine, good shot, great player. I don't think Bona handled that one poorly. But the Paul George one, where he's trailing Mitchell and he just doesn't see him on a baseline out-of-bounds play, and it's just he's wide open from three. There was just too much of that tonight. And so frustrating loss. We can get into some of the other stuff as well. I thought also Joel was great. I thought he ran out of gas a little bit late. There was a stretch late in the third quarter where it was like 3 straight minutes of play.
It was towards the end of the third quarter. Yep.
Yeah, and I just thought he ran out of gas because it was his night, and it would have been nice if you were able to get him the ball late in the fourth quarter. It's a frustrating one because we're going to talk about some stuff that they can build on, and I thought they did well. But the combination of the small mistakes that they made and also Cleveland shooting the lights out too, like, got to give them credit.
Got to shake their hand.
They're not going to do it quite to that level most nights, but yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, it really is, and some frustrated people there in the chat, so we encourage everybody to continue, bring everything here in the chat. Hit the like button as you hang out with us.
Even
on
if you're mad at us, hit
Friday
the like
night,
button.
hit that like button, like and subscribe to the show. Spread the word, tell a friend to tell another friend and another friend that we are here after every Sixers game, before and after, and certainly on our 3 p.m. shows weekly here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Rich, Devon, Bree, We're all here with you when we can, because it's going to be a busy night. With a night like tonight, sometimes people drag their feet. They take their showers. It's going to be a long night. We'll see if we can get Kyle and Derek from the arena. Wash the stink off of them. You know, lick their wounds after 2 losses to the Cleveland Cavaliers in their home series, this mini series, Wednesday and Friday. Tough one here in Philadelphia. Philly Reddick, our guy, Philly Reddick says Maxey is not a first or even a second team All-NBA player. Disagree there. He had a bad series. Disagree there.
Bad series.
Disagree there.
Very good player.
Yes, he is. And he's still first or second team right now through the 40 games in the NBA this season. All right, we're going to take our first pause of the night. When we come back, we have to give you our big takeaway presented by Xfinity here on the show. We'll give you our big takeaway. Later on, we'll give you our Togo unsung hero. We do have one of them. And we'll give you our player of the game on the night as well. It is not Jaylon Tyson. Even though he had a career night, we'll talk about him as well. Sixers lose another close one, 117-115. Come back, we'll break it all down with you. Vent, keep venting. Leave a comment as well when you get there in the chat. But hang with us on this Friday night. Let's get it all out. We have a weekend to just kind of rest and get back at basketball on Monday. It's the PHLY Sixers postgame show presented by Bet365. All right, I was heading into work this morning because we had an early morning meeting, and I said, you know what? I forgot to grab something out of the house. No worries. Right to Wawa I go. It's right near my home, and it's an institution here in Philadelphia. So if you ever want to go from 5 to 11 a.m., you make sure you hit up Wawa for the great offer, the $5 deal where you can get any Sizzly, any size hot or iced coffee, and a hash brown, all for $5 at Wawa. So for me, I was starving. You know what I needed? I needed my Sizzly, sausage and cheese on a biscuit. Good to go. I'm good there. French vanilla coffee and the hash brown. Now I'm ready to go sit in this meeting and feel pretty good. I'm ready to discuss some things, all because I was able to go to the great place that is Wawa. Once again, available only in the morning from 5 to 11 a.m. If your morning calls for something sweet, then try the new caramel and chocolate craze flavors as well. No need to overthink breakfast. Just grab, go, and get on with your day. Gotta have a Wawa.
The holiday season just ended, and we know how stressful that can be on your finances. Between travel, gifts, hosting, entertaining, you name it, it's easy to lose sight of your money. And if you want to keep your finances under control after this holiday season, you need to be using Monarch, rated Wall Street Journal's best budgeting app of 2025. Monarch is the all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or your phone. And right now, just for our listeners, Monarch is offering 50% off your first year. And Monarch, guys, it does all of the heavy lifting. It links all of your accounts in minutes and gets clear data, visuals, smart categorization on your spending, and organizing your finances. Named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal, and the best app by Forbes for couples. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code PHLY at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarch.com with code PHLY.
Back here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show, 117-115 final. Cleveland taking a 3-0 series lead. Only one more game this season. Doesn't matter, because unless it matters in the end, where Sixers have a 1-game lead over the Cleveland Cavaliers at the end, and you might as well win that one. You never know how. Hey, you just need to beat them in Cleveland in March, and hopefully you have a more than one game victory when it comes to wins, losses at the end of the season for the Sixers. I mean, just basically have like a 45-37, and they are 44-36.
I'm a little frustrated at Cleveland because I've watched them a decent amount this year. Yeah. They have not played this well for most of this year.
No, they have not.
Just move the Sixers to the side. Like they look like a team that's about to go on a run. I don't think if they're relying on Jaylon Tyson to go on that run, that's going to necessarily happen to that degree. But they're tough to guard, man. There's been a lot of people in the comments, and I think it's fair to point this out. Is that, man, what a week for Philadelphia sports. The Sixers went 1-3 this week.
Wow.
And basically lost the tiebreaker to Cleveland. They have heartbreaking losses to both Toronto at the beginning of the week and Cleveland at the end of the week. And I think they had the best week in Philadelphia sports. I think they had the best week.
Yes, they
As long
did.
as Joel didn't get hurt in that game, I think they had a better week than the rest of the teams. Anyway, it's been a rough one. We appreciate everybody for hanging
They
out
also
with us.
have what do they have? What are we at now? They also have 43 games in the books now this season.
Is that what it is?
They have 43 games in the books. Basically, we're at the midway point of the season. They still have a decent amount of games left. So, they have 38 games left on this. Wow, they only have 38 games left on the season. We have game 40? Oh, I was looking at Cleveland. Sorry, I was looking at Cleveland 24-19. Sixers are at game number 40. So 41 games remaining on the season. Plenty of time, even though they had the better week with a bad record for the week. I'm sorry.
For sure. And I think we're going to talk about some of the positives from that game because I do think, guys, like there are some things they can build on from this game. There really are. Like it's insanely frustrating that they lost that game because they did a lot of these good things, and usually you want to be able to win that game. Struggled down the stretch. I also should point out, seeing a lot of comments about the clutch ability and fourth quarter ability. Sixers are an above average team, both in the clutch and the fourth quarter on the season. Was tonight a really bad night in that regard? Yes, but let's not forget the whole season.
Yeah, real quick, let's get to Mark Jackson's super chat where Mark says, are there any similarities, Rich, where we can conclude from the loss here tonight and the Lakers loss? So these last two losses, the Cleveland and the Lakers loss. Oh, and by the way, Maxey's still first team all NBA bozos. Thank you, Mark. It's all love, of course, here with Philly Reddick. But yeah, he's all NBA first or second team, no matter what. You see any similarities between these losses with the Lakers?
The Lakers loss was the one where Joel shot like 4 of 21 or whatever it was.
And Maxey struggled tonight, or this series against Cleveland. So
I think both of those losses, honestly, like the Sixers shooting was bad. And if you actually just wanted to point down to make or miss league, you could say, the Sixers were okay in both of those games. It wasn't like the game the other night where it was not a make or miss league. Cleveland just beat their butts the entire game.
Absolutely.
So maybe a little bit of a similarity in that regard.
Yeah. But again, things that you can build off of that you can go to. And that's why we're right now going to go to the Xfinity as we come to you from the Xfinity studio. Big takeaway presented by Xfinity. Make sure you visit xfinity.com to learn more. All right, Rich, the big takeaway tonight, although they gave up 117 points, and I had my cousin in the group chat here saying, I can't with this team, their defense stinks. Your counter to their defense stinks, as my cousin says that in the chat.
Well, I agree with him on some of those possessions.
Yes,
we talked about it already. Some of the easy transition buckets they gave up, some of the defensive lapses. I don't know. When they got locked in the half court, though, tonight, 18 Cleveland turnovers. And sure, a couple of those, the hilarious Donovan Mitchell, the one where he threw it off the backboard. I will say, though, they sped Donovan Mitchell up.
Yes,
I think
did.
that was part of the game there, where from the beginning of the game, they said, okay, we're not going to let Donovan Mitchell get comfortable. We are going to show, we are going to flat out double, and we are going to rotate on the weak side and try and live with it. And sure, I think some of those 3-pointers that they gave up, that is a little bit of the give and take that you do when you go with that strategy. But man, 18 steals. There was that play in the fourth quarter where I was actually really excited to highlight it if they won, where they double Mitchell, and I think the ball got thrown down to Tomlin. By the way, Joel got dunked on huge twice tonight, but he did rotate back to get a block on somebody there. And I was like, that's just beautiful defense. And you had PG getting in passing lanes. You had Maxey getting in passing lanes. And the Sixers were getting points off turnovers. I don't have do you have the points off turnovers for the game tonight?
Yes, I do. Sixers had 32 off of the Cavaliers turnovers and 15 for the Sixers off of Cleveland had 15 off of the
And
Sixers.
I think you could argue in that regard, just taking care of the ball, the Sixers did a much better job against Cleveland. And by the way, Cleveland's a team that wants to force turnovers. They beat them in the last game by being aggressive, showing bodies at Maxey. And the Sixers did a way better job, I think, before the shot in the half court tonight. Didn't close it out, but I did want to point that out. I thought their defense, it was probably too up and down. If the more that I'm thinking,
wasn't consistent enough
because you can't take away the bad possessions, right?
Yeah.
You can't take those away.
We can't take away when, especially in the crunch time in the last 45 seconds of the game, DeAndre Hunter runs down the floor and gets that layup uncontested. You can't throw away some of the other things like Paul George just left his feet too soon on the closeout. You had to close out. It's Donovan Mitchell. He's going to make that corner three. You want that one back, but he had to attempt that one there. And just some of the other possessions there where there were some really bad defensive possessions. But to your point, for the most part, there were a lot of good things. The good things, if they would have won this game, we can talk about them to build off of, which you can still do. But what do you say about the defense when you have a guy who is a role player who averages under 10 points, has a career night of 39 points? It's the NBA. He's there for a reason. Darius Garland is out. There's an opportunity for a player. This is, again, guys take advantage of their opportunities. Jaylon Tyson certainly did that, but he did hang a career high of 39 points on the Sixers defense. When we discuss the wings of George, Edgecombe, and Oubre being back, and we give them the credit of what they do defensively, how do we now talk about their defense in a positive when maybe their strength couldn't do anything with a guy that's a role player, with all due respect?
It's tough, man, because this was a game where, okay, Cleveland, they did hit the offensive boards pretty well, but Sixers turned them over a bunch, and they kept them off the free throw line. A really high shooting percentage game. And I do think this does get lost. Like, when we say professional win against the Magic shot absolutely terribly from the three-point line. Cleveland tonight shoots the absolute lights out. There isn't that much to distinguish those two performances. I would say, like, again, sometimes it's whether the other team is making their threes. Tyson, I would say there were a few possessions where the Sixers did not get back in transition, and he was able to either get layups or able to get threes. Like, there was one possession late in the game where he got, basically an uncontested walk to the rim where Joel didn't contest a shot, and that's bad. That's what I mean by this defense being too up and down in this game. The high moments were high, but you got to be able to sustain that for 48 minutes, or if not sustain it for 48 minutes, for 40 minutes. It just felt like there were too many lapses in that regard. I will say there were a few possessions, though, where Jaylon Tyson, the one where he relocates and wasn't even looking at the rim on that three, it's like
the one where Joel closed out on him and he still made it. Yeah, unbelievable. That's when you just have that kind of night. So a lot of those were they just couldn't defend them. Some of those were get out of here. He wouldn't make that 3 out of 10 times, let alone the way that he was going at it tonight. He had the hot hand. He was in his zone, and he just happened to be in the zone on the big stage and on an NBA floor against a team where defensively you would have hoped. I apologize. He does average 13 points on the season. But, I mean, man, he was just on a heater tonight. And, I mean, from the start, he was rolling.
I mean, just wide open.
Rolling. 7 3-pointers tonight for him. So, but the defense in general, to your point.
Bree has a few of these. Like, that's a lapse by PG on that one there. He's just helping too much. And the Sixers play a help scheme, and I can't compliment all of the turnovers because, hey, that is part of the gamble on that regard. But, man, he was.
And you give them credit, too, because he had the hot hand. They found him. So when you have an all-star, an all-NBA player like Donovan Mitchell, the other guy is having the hot hand, you find him. You're going to have your all-star nights. Most nights, it was his tonight. And that's what's great about sports, as we always talk about, whether it's in the NFL and the guy is catching has 5 receptions in the first few minutes, and you're like, oh, he's got it together against the secondary. Keep feeding him. And he ends up with a career night. In baseball, don't pitch to that dude because everything he's hitting, it's in play or it's a home run. And in basketball, obviously, when you have a hot hand, this is what NBA players do. And a guy like, we can look at Jaylon Tyson. You know how we always say, yeah, catch him at the rec league and he'll still cook you, as an NBA player. And this dude goes out there and has a 39, shooting over everybody on the Sixers to make their defense look silly in the end.
Let me ask you, because the question, I think, some people might question some of the late game offense, but I want to focus on the defense particularly and really the lineup choice, and that Nick Nurse closes again with Kelly Oubre, right? Kelly Oubre does not start the game. Or did he start the game?
Kelly Oubre did not start.
No, he doesn't start the game.
Did.
Barlow starts the game. Barlow starts the game, but Kelly Oubre is the guy to close, and they have him guard Donovan Mitchell. I think that's something to note. I mean, Kelly missed a wide open 3 down the stretch. I will say he made another one earlier on, a few minutes before with Maxey in there. Just something to note. It does seem like Kelly is the guy in those closing lineups. He was the guy guarding Mitchell on that last play. They do some switching as well. Just wanted to point that out.
His better game offensively, 12 points since he's been back, coming off the bench, 12 points, 4 for 7. He had two threes in rhythm, by the way, where they weren't ones where we looked at each other saying, what is Kelly Oubre doing here? The one he missed was still a rhythm three, especially coming off of 2 makes that he had. So it was a good shot. It was a great release pass that they had to make, and that was from the spot where he made the other 2, so I didn't mind it. Kelly Oubre overall, he's still finding his way back and getting his legs underneath him. So as much as we talk about the defense should be much better on a player like Jaylon Tyson, better offensive night for Kelly Oubre in the time that he played off the bench, 26 minutes and 7 seconds, but 2 for 5 from 3, and did have 1 assist, 1 steal on the night for Kelly Oubre. But the big takeaway there, the defense, man. Defense
let him down, and when the offense was really bad, it created transition defense opportunities. I don't know how much blame you want to put in each bucket there, but obviously they go hand in hand.
Yeah, really does. All right, that'll do it for us on the Xfinity Big Takeaway presented by Xfinity. Make sure you visit xfinity.com to learn more about just getting in there so you don't have issues like some of our co-hosts, as Rich likes to tell you, and the co-hosts like to tell me and Bree about Rich and his problems.
Yeah, they're liars. Yeah.
The Big Takeaway presented by Xfinity. When we get back, we got the unsung hero. As always, in the chat, who's the unsung hero for you? Let us know in the chat during our break. We'll come back. We'll reveal who we have as the unsung hero. And another big night from somebody that we'll tell you about a little bit later here on the show. Player of the game as well as the PHLY Sixers post game. Sixers fall 117-115.
Guys, everybody's got their favorite hard tea, but have you ever turned the can to read what's in it? You cannot, because they do not tell you. And while they hide what's inside, our friends at Crooked Tea brag about it. Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with 0 sugar, no fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see is what you drink. So next time when you're at the store, do me a favor, guys. Flip the can, and if you can't find the ingredients, just put it back, then grab a Crooked Tea, 0 sugar, real tea, and it's fully transparent. You know at Philadelphia, real recognizes real, so why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea is the only thing better than a strip sack in the Super Bowl. So do me a favor and visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you. Guys, we all know the feeling. You walk into a jewelry store trying to pick out something for your partner, and suddenly you're in over your head. You're thinking, what's the difference between all these diamonds, and what if they don't like it? Yes, it can be stressful, and that is why working with Joe and Michelle at Bucci's Jewelry and Design has been such a game changer. These guys, they make the whole process seamless. From the minute you walk in, they treat you like family. They actually listen, help you figure out what they'll love, and then their team designs something completely custom right there in-house. No pressure, no pushy sales vibe, just good people who love what they do. And the end result, something you're proud to give and that they'll never forget. So the next time you need that perfect piece, go see Joe and Michelle at Bucci's Jewelry and Design. 30 plus years in the game, voted Philly's #1 jeweler year after year, over 1,000 5-star reviews. It speaks for itself. Check them out at BucciJewelers.com and tell them the guys at PHLY sent you.
Back here on the PHLY Sixers post-game show. Close loss, nail-biter, stunner in South Philly, 117-115. Sixers lose to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Let's get to the Togo unsung hero. I saw somebody say they lost. There's no unsung hero. Unfortunately, there is an unsung hero. So we have to talk about that unsung hero presented by Togo. Make sure you check out Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. The unsung hero tonight. I'm sorry, I flipped things there what we were going to talk about, but let's just go to the unsung hero since we have everything in front of us. Let's talk about Adem Bona. 14 minutes, 53 seconds, 2 for 3 from the floor, 2 massive blocks that he had. Crazy dunk as well. A lot of energy. Yeah, 3 block shots. A lot of energy tonight that we asked for in the beginning of the game from the team. They gave you that. Bona gave you that.
Yeah, really good energy from him tonight. That sequence when he got the 2 blocks basically on back-to-back possessions, that was pretty sick, and that's something that really Adem Bona is
Started
capable
off with
of.
the dunk first.
And then Bree is showing where they run their set. Yeah, there's the block. There's one block, another one coming up here. I think this was Sixers messed this up. Yeah. VJ throws the ball away, and then Adem on the other end. Who's that? Proctor chases him down. Yeah, on the block. Really, I mean, impressive stuff from Bona. The huge dunk as well. They run this play a lot, sort of the weave, and then they get into a pick and roll, big time dunk. He made a nice finish in transition, like a good hands play to catch it, take one dribble and finish it. Good minutes from Bona. He's part of that fourth quarter chaos lineup where I thought like we didn't get perfection from them. That's the VJ, Kelly, Grimes, PG lineup. I love having Bona out there though, because you can legitimately switch 1 through 5 with that group. Good. Like, look, Bona, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster for the centers this year where Bona made some big plays the first couple weeks of the year, and then he was pretty bad for a few weeks. Drum took it over. Drum was okay for about a month or so, and then he started to tail back a little bit, and it seems like it's Bona's job right now, and he is playing well.
He looked really good. Again, this is still a learning curve. Still a learning curve for him right now, where he's a little up and down. He is right now. This is where Nick Nurse is going to be. He's going to feel it out. He's going to go to Drummond or he's going to go to Bona right now. It's Bona, especially against certain teams. So with that, you like how he just came right out on the floor in place of Joel Embiid, and he got right after it with those types of plays, those energy plays where he was rotating really well. He moved his feet pretty good, stayed out of foul trouble tonight. And you like to see that from him. He did have 2 personal fouls, but that's okay. He had 4 boards overall, 2 defensive, 2 offensive. There wasn't anything tonight where we talked about, hey, man, catch the ball or use your hands better. He was much, much better tonight for what they asked of him in those minutes out there on the floor. Now, kind of not his fault when Joel had to come out of the game. Cleveland made their run. That's okay. That's basketball, and that's how things go. But as we continue to talk about his development, maybe playing next to Joel Embiid, being the primary behind Joel Embiid, or if Embiid does not play one night and he gets the starting call, you could see where there are some really good things there with him, that he's picking it up, and we're not seeing a lot of the same mistakes that we've talked about so much here on the show. So good night for Bona. And when this is a close loss like this, they still lost by 2 points. There were some good things in there, like Rich talked about there, for everything there with the big takeaway. But for when we discuss an unsung hero, the Dominic Barlow Award, because a player did all the little things to help out for a win. And despite the fact that he was a -11 in the plus minus, we thought that his minutes were good out there on the floor. So from Adem Bona, as we stay with the unsung hero, we do have to talk about the guy who the award is named after, Dominic Barlow, coming back with the hip contusion, and he gets the start. He only had 2 points, and he only had 2 rebounds, and they were both offensive, but he had 3 steals in a block in his 16 minutes and 57 seconds.
He was all over the place.
He was everywhere.
I wish I got a back contusion like that.
He was everywhere.
It was unbelievable. In the first few minutes, I mean, we talk about the steals and the physicality they were playing with. He's guarding Mobley. Just a great job by Barlow in there. It is interesting that he doesn't get to close down the stretch. I don't think I'm even – I understand. Like, he has offensive limitations, but I'm just putting it out there. Like, it's something –
And that wasn't the case when he was playing earlier in the season. He was closing games.
He was closing a few games. So, yeah, like, I think the main thing that we saw from Barlow, which was that great stretch at the beginning, it's just nice to see him healthy out there. Who knows, too? Maybe he only could have played 20 minutes tonight. Like, they were like, let's not push it too much after the back contusion. He looks healthy out there.
Yeah.
Looks good, but maybe not play him a ton of minutes. But Oubre has been closing a lot of these games as well.
Yep, absolutely. All right, that's our unsung hero, the Adem Bona Award tonight, presented by Togo, with a little bit of a hat tip to the man that's named after Dominic Barlow. Make sure you check out Togo, the leader in operations outsourcing. Let Togo handle the work that gets in the way of your work. You call the plays, we execute. Let's take our final pause here on the show. We'll come back. We'll get into the play of the game. We'll get some super chats as well. Another player in the Sixers organization with a huge night, and Kyle Neubeck live here on the show with the post-game reaction from the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Sixers fall 117-115. It's the PHLY Sixers post-game show. Rich, Devon, Bree, all of you. Talk to you all when we get back here on the PHLY Sixers post-game. Do you really want Tyrese Maxey trying to defend some of the better front court players in the association? No, not really. That's not his strong suit. As talented as he is, you don't want him playing out of place. So it's not worth the risk, time, or the money for the professional basketball team. You need to keep your stars focused on what they do best, and the same goes for your business. You don't want your top people buried in operations, tedious, time-consuming, redundant activities that wear them down overall. You want them to keep your impact players fresh. And that's where Togo comes in, an integrated part of your team, taking the work off your starters' plates so they can focus on what really moves the business forward. Each Togo program includes dedicated staff, custom automations, and US-based processes engineers who act as if they are your point guard overall. At Togo, turning your playbook into performance, you call plays, we execute your way, and we advise along the journey. Visit harnesstogo.com. That's harnesstogo.com. Scale smarter, work faster, and stay focused on winning.
Guys, I am 35 years old, and it hit me like a brick wall. Same workouts, same diet, but it felt like I was moving through mud. Nobody tells you about this stuff. One day you're crushing it, and the next day you're wondering why everything is twice as hard. Because here's the thing. Most men, they start losing their testosterone at 30 years old and then lose it 1% every year after that. So I'm keeping it simple and doing something natural that supports my body where it needs it. That's why I'm taking Mars Men. It helps your body unlock usable testosterone so you can feel like yourself again. More consistent, natural energy. It's not like drinking a cup of coffee. It supports healthy T levels, energy, and stamina, and has a 90-day money-back guarantee. For a limited time, our listeners can get 50% off for life, plus free shipping and 3 gifts at mengotomars.com. It's a perfect way to kick off the new year strong. That's mengotomars.com for 50% off and 3 free gifts at checkout. After you purchase, they will ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that we sent you.
All right, we're back here on the PHLY Sixers post-game show, and we have to head down to the arena, the Xfinity Mobile Arena. We get to tap in with our teammate here on the PHLY Sixers post-game show. It's one and only. It's Kyle Neubeck joining us live from the arena following this close loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers, 117-115. Kyle, man, I don't know how many more of these you guys can see up close and personal, the way that these happen. But, man, take us down the stretch really in the fourth quarter as the Sixers had the lead. They cough it up. Cleveland is making this ferocious comeback and everything that played out there in the end. What were your thoughts live in the moment?
Well, first of all, fellas, I just have to say I didn't know I would ever be able to come on the postgame show again from the arena. So it's nice to be able to make this happen every once in a while, you know? So I would say this. It went from a game that I thought they had totally under control, that I thought VJ and Paul and that backup group to open the fourth quarter played really well. You deliver it to a point where you bring back Tyrese first, and then you bring back Joel. And I thought the second that they brought Maxey back in that game is when things went off the rails. He had a few possessions that he just missed shots with some of it, and it compounded what I thought was another poor night for him on offense. But, you know, it was certainly a team effort to get there. They had that one possession where Joel ends up heaving an air ball from the baseline after they had wasted a bunch of clock. Kelly Oubre misses a 3. Like, there were errors of execution all over the place. So I keep saying it. I feel like this has been a big talking point on the show this last week, Devon, but they've been in crunch time games all year. And it's very easy when you're winning those games to just say, boy, they're a great crunch time team. They have what it takes when it matters. And what I kept cautioning against was, what you really want is to win these games by 10 to 12 points, and you don't have to worry about crunch time, and you just see it out, because over time, the math and basic logic says you're going to start losing some of these coin flip games. Well, now they're losing a lot of these coin flip games, and whatever good vibes that they created with the crunch time wins earlier in the year have all but dissipated.
And they're never the same, Kyle. They're always different now with these types of losses, whether it's turnovers at the end, not boxing out, the weird opportunity that DeAndre Hunter had for that layup where Joel was trying to locate and find one of the big men, Allen or Mobley, and he's just running down the floor. DeAndre Hunter does for a layup to give them a lead. And again, it's just they're always different, but frustrating in the same way.
Yeah, and so I'll give you guys some insight about some of what went wrong tonight from the team perspective. So Tyson going absolutely bonkers tonight was a big part of Cleveland winning. In fact, I would say it's the number one reason that they won that game. And when I asked Maxey about it after the game, what he said was they treated it as if it was a playoff game, and it was, okay, we're not letting Donovan Mitchell beat us. We're going to load up on his drives. We're going to send help. And a lot of times it was Tyrese. Like I've wrote about it in the recap, but I think 33 points into a 39-point game, one pass away, Maxey is helping off of Tyson on a Mitchell drive, and Tyson hits a catch-and-shoot three, unsurprisingly. And so it was just one of those games where they said, we are willing to live with Tyson taking these threes, despite the fact that he is a very good three-point shooter. They just said, we don't want Donovan Mitchell to beat us. We're going to make someone else beat us. And Tyson did it. And so that, even as he gets to 33, 36, 39, and he's making plays down the stretch, they just stuck to the strategy. So I think we can dress it up in other ways, and we can, you can shake your head and say, oh, I can't believe that Jaylon Tyson scored 39 points, and the career high of it all makes it feel a little bit worse from a Sixers perspective. But that's all it really came down to, I think, to them and to me, is that they picked their poison, and they drank enough of the poison that they all are lying on the floor dead after that game.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea of trying to double and take the ball out of Mitchell's hands, they executed that part very well. And yes, Jaylon Tyson is a good shooter. Is he a 13 of 17 from the field? Like, I think most nights you're winning that bet if you guard Donovan Mitchell at that level. Kyle, one guy who we have not talked about that much, because I think we were talking about Maxey a lot early on, is the guy who was the Sixers' best player tonight, and that was Joel. I just thought, like, his mix of, I would say, finesse and also power, like, was really good in this game. We talked a lot about, I saw you tweet the other night about how the Cavs, their aggressive defense against the two-man game kind of shut them down. He and Maxey did an awesome job in that regard.
Yes.
Tonight. Like, they were on a string. They were on the same page. They got good shots pretty much the whole game, except for two possessions late in the fourth quarter, which we all know about. But yeah, I just thought really good offensive game from Joe.
Yeah, and I thought it was, to your point, Rich, just a great mix of stuff. Like, they did some things away from the ball with Paul and Kelly and some of the other guys to just, you're isolating Joel rather than, all right, you're getting doubled and then Allen can fall back to you. It's like, we have Joel on the left block and we've made it difficult for them to send help. And so then Joel is playing the face-up game, playing the drive game. You also had him at times in the first half, especially, running the floor on stops. And I thought he got a couple of easy seals of, like, Evan Mobley or somebody else on a mismatch, and he's drawing fouls. He played good downhill game early in this game where he had a layup that he missed, and then he gets the offensive rebound, gets fouled again. Like, all the signs of good health, good conditioning that I think we've seen from Joel in the past. And so, like, that stuff is super meaningful to me. And I agree with you. Like, I think while Maxey was not good in terms of the scoring, the attacking stuff for most of this game, the pocket passes are arriving to Joe right on time. Laces are right in the right spot, and so he's able to rise into some of these shots. Like, I thought when Joel hit that one mid-range with like 4.5 minutes left off of that pocket pass, to me, that was like okay, you settled the team, you needed that possession, and you're going to see this thing out based on how they played all night. And then they lost the plot down the stretch. It's just, it's infuriating. So anybody who is ready to fire and trade people after that game, I get, like, they're not going to do that, but I get where that emotion's coming from. That was a tough one.
Kyle, going to Tyrese Maxey, over this 2-game mini series, he shot overall in this series here 14 for 39 against this Cleveland defense, and a lot of that was Jaylon Tyson, who had him as an assignment on Wednesday and also tonight. So even with the 39 that Tyson put up, he also defended Maxey well enough to frustrate him. And you saw some DeAndre Hunter, some of the other players, where made it difficult for Tyrese Maxey. What did you see now that the 2 games are in the books? as far as why he struggled against this defense?
I think the answer is that they're able to throw a lot of different stuff at him, Devon. I think you're absolutely right to point out Tyson's defense, because there are times when he's picking them up 80 feet down the floor and he's making them play through pressure. Then there are times when, I mean, we talked about it after the first game, and it was a storyline coming in tonight. They're throwing two at him quite a bit. And maybe it's not a hard trap, but it's at least like they're icing the picks on the sideline and then just showing him bodies. And even if he's able to wait it out a little bit, and I thought he did a better job of that tonight, not just automatically throwing the pass to Joel middle. Like there were a couple plays where he hesitates and he waits for Allen or Mobley to slide, and then he's got a potential driving lane. You're always worried when they play those two big lineups that Mobley is going to be back there in weak side help, and that's always going to be a threat. And they always have somebody on the floor who's offering a bit of resistance at the rim, even if you break that initial line of defense. So it's a difficult team. Now, on the other side of it, there's some shooting variant stuff in there for sure. Like there are 4 or 5 shots I can think of tonight that in a regular, not even a good Tyrese Maxey game, a regular Tyrese Maxey game, he's hitting a couple of those. And in a good game, he's making all of them. Like he's making the open corner 3 midway through the 4th. He's making the transition 3 earlier in the game. That's just a money shot for Maxey. So it's a combination of things, but I would say given that they're down 3-0 in the season series and he played very poorly by his standards this week, they got a lot to look at on the tape.
Kyle, last one for me, and it's just a question of, we talked about the give and take with the help off Tyson and Mitchell, but with Tyson making his shots and also the offense down the stretch, did Nurse, did Embiid, did Maxey say anything about the last few minutes of the game? If they thought it was what went wrong, what went right, anything like that?
Maxey talked a little bit about it, and I think he was by and large kind of happy with where they were at, which I know is not what people want to hear probably, but I think what he came back to was, so for example, like the Kelly Oubre 3, he's like, that's a good shot. Like we trust Kelly to take those shots. So you live with that. He has a couple of baskets down the stretch. I think the main thing that he harped on was turnovers. And that was something that Nurse hit on too, was even on plays that weren't turnovers, there was a tie up with 2 seconds on the shot clock where then they had to jump it at half court. And so even if Joel had won that's effectively a turnover. And so sloppiness with the basketball and some basic execution stuff is where I think they were dissatisfied. When they were able to actually run offense, I think they liked what they got. But they are still trying to figure out exactly what their identity is down the stretch, I think. And some of that is just, this is the first year that Maxey has been in this position where I think it defaults to him as much or more than it does to Joel. And they still have not necessarily figured out, like, what are our pet plays to get Maxey a bucket and to get him open, frankly, because as we've seen with Joel over the years, sometimes it's just as simple as, can we get you the ball? And there was a possession tonight where Maxey and VJ stood around for probably 12 seconds of the shot clock with VJ just like, are you going to come back to the ball? Like, what's happening here? So it's definitely some growing pains they got to work through.
That's the 1-2 pick and roll. And the issue is if they switch it, you better get it to Maxey pretty quickly. They did a good job of denying him on that one. Yeah.
Yep. All right, Kyle, we appreciate it. Thanks. It's good to see you from the arena. And catching up with you live on the show.
Yeah,
we thought it would be a little bit longer because we were like, tough one like
tough
this.
Loss,
long showers, but I guess everybody got through.
Yeah, well, I actually, Derek was in charge of talking to Joel while I was over here because you never know how long the big fella is going to take. So figured we kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Nice to see you guys here because it hasn't happened in months, it feels like. It's nice to get back in the groove again.
Well, you guys will be back at the arena on Monday for the Sixers and the Pacers, the first of a back-to-back for the Sixers. So we'll catch up with you then, man. Be safe getting home. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll catch up with you next week. Thanks, man.
Sounds good. See you guys.
You got it. Kyle Neubeck joining us live from the Xfinity Mobile Arena, site of the Sixers' loss of the 2-game series here to the Cleveland Cavaliers. By the way, the Indiana Pacers play a back-to-back tonight They beat the New Orleans Pelicans. They're in Detroit tomorrow, off Sunday in Philadelphia on Monday. Let's get to the player of the game, Bree. As Kyle and Rich just talked about, Joel Embiid, 33 points, 5 boards, 3 assists. Yeah, he was out there on the floor. Got winded at that one point, but that's to be expected. It was a fast-paced game, 33 minutes and 7 seconds in total for Joel Embiid. He was pretty good. He was the best player. As you and Kyle talked about him a little bit, just a little bit extended time for you.
Yeah, I mean, again, the two-man game with Maxey. So he and Maxey in the first half, they both had, I think, one-footed floaters, both of them. Maxey had the scoop shot off the glass. Like, that is just, like, beautiful stuff there. And Joel had one, too, on the left side where I think he took a wrong foot floater as well. And
I was shocked when he pulled that one out of the bag.
Yeah, I'm happy he didn't get hurt either, too. But, yeah, I just thought he played with good force on offense, and he mixed up when to short roll, and he drove really hard a few times as well. Like, you said it on one of those possessions. He ended up passing it, but he was feeling pretty good out there. He was dancing with the ball in a good way, I would say. Just a good overall game from him. Yeah, is he part of some of their defensive issues? Absolutely. And I think some of the transition defensive plays, I think you have to include him in that because he just does not do a great job of getting back on defense.
Yep.
But I thought he played well for most of the game. And look, you can compete with this level of Joel Embiid. Got to figure out some of the crunch time stuff. Got to figure out some of the lineups around him, around Maxey, the Maxey only lineups in the first half. But like again, he's stringing together some decent performances.
Yeah, he really is. He was fantastic tonight. And even though the numbers, you look at 10 for 22 on the night, you say, oh, that's below 50%. Nah, he was good. He was really good tonight. And despite the way he closed, a little bit tired, that crazy shot there on the baseline where he just threw it up.
That's a bad one.
It was a bad one.
He's had like 4 or 5 of those.
I thought there was
this year.
enough time to make an extra pass or something, and he just threw it up. And I guess he just thought, I'm just going to throw it up, see if he can get on the rim, and maybe somebody can get an offensive putback. But that was a tough one. I do not defend that one.
He's clearly tired, which is not an excuse because, like, look, what did he play? Like 35 minutes?
33
minutes in tonight's game. Again, he had to deal with, he shouldered a big load on the offensive end, but again, he got a pretty long break in the fourth quarter. I want to see less of those in crunch time. That was the one awful possession where it was just like a no-hoper from the start. Although the one where Maxey threw it to him and they got the turnover as well, I didn't like either. I want to see less of those from Embiid. Like if you get the ball in crunch time, come on, get a good shot. You've gotten a good shot the entire game. Remember, he threw up one of those garbage ones against Memphis too. I feel like he's done that like 5 or 6 times. That's one thing from Joel.
And they're not.
I don't want to see any of those in crunch time anymore.
The officials are not going to bail you out.
Get a better shot than that.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep.
Again,
other than that,
really good game.
He was really good.
Yeah.
He was easily the best player out there on the floor. And look, he got dunked on twice. That's what happens to rim protectors. You get dunked on.
He did get dunked on.
He got dunked on. It was nasty, too, because Tomlin got him, whew.
Tomlin, he can't make a corner three. He can't hit the rim on a corner three.
He is athletic.
He's got some bounce for
yes,
sure.
He does.
Hunter got him, too.
Hunter got him, and Hunter's was smart, too, because he knew he was going to try to dunk on Joel. He went up with 2 hands. Smart. He said, I'm not going up with 1 hand. I'm going up with 2. For that one. All right, Joel Embiid is our player of the game tonight with 33 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 11 for 12 from the free throw line, knocked down 2 threes, was in a really good rhythm, and 10 for 22. The two-man game stuff where he was able to hit those jumpers right there from the elbow look like normal Joel Embiid layups, where, as Rich just pointed out, I said to him and Bree, like, yeah, he looks like he's got it. He's got it back, and he was catching the ball on the move, reacting quickly, like we asked in the pregame. He looked really good tonight. So, player of the game this evening is, in fact, Joel Embiid on the night. We're gonna hit here in just a second a quick overtime on a post-game night on a Friday night. So, everybody on the television side, we hope you can hang out with us for the remainder of the show at allphly.com. If not, have a great weekend. We'll see you at 6:30 for the pregame Sixers-Pacers, where the Sixers need to win. And hopefully they can do so against the Pacers, who have the worst record in the Eastern Conference with 10 wins, tied with the Washington Wizards. 6:30 pregame Monday here on the TV side on the PHLY Sixers podcast.
Let's do it. I have 3 funny things before we get out of here from tonight's game. Number 1, I told you this. Yeah, and I guess we have some super chats as well in a minute. But number one, Quentin Grimes, there is no rhyme or reason to his shots going in or not. Like, shot quality could not correlate less to a single player than Quentin Grimes. He could be, when he is wide open off beautiful ball movement in the corner, that shot is probably not going in. And when he's spinning like a top after turning the ball over and stealing it back and throwing it over his head, that shot's going in. It's just a very funny player. I actually am a pretty big Quentin Grimes guy. I think he's done his job this year. Yes, is he very up and down at times? Sure. But you just heard how I just described him. Of course he's up and down. I think the overall product is pretty good. But man, like the shot quality, like when he is contested and it's a garbage offensive possession, I think that has a higher chance of going in than a swing, wide open corner three for him.
Listen, think about this too. 2-point loss tonight, and he was good. What did he have off the bench? I know he had double figures. He had 14 off the bench. Big threes, 7 boards, 4 assists. So he does stuff. Man, he also gets to the basket and he misses a layup every game.
Yes, he did.
This was a 2-point game. That was a layup that he should have made, right? 99% of the time he's going to make that layup. 99.
I forgot about that one.
I did not, Rich.
He made the one I was talking about where he was spinning like a top, and you're right. He ran like a beautiful under control pick and roll.
Perfect.
Got the guy on his back, going to the right side, like a very easy shot, and he just doesn't put the ball in the square. Yeah, that's crazy.
It's unbelievable. But he's going to give you 14 almost every night.
And he's going to play hard.
Yeah, he's going to play hard. He's give you 7 boards, 4 assists on the night. He's averaging on the season 14 points a game with 4 and 4, 13, 4 and 4 every night, 14, 4 and 4 every night he's giving you. And it's tough to pick at these things while also shooting 36% from threes, right around league average. Yet he still drives you crazy sometimes when you watch the game. I know our buddy Vinny in the chat is also like, yeah, I can't do it with this guy. So, yeah, but Grimes, what's the other two?
So that's one. Number 2, this is a quick one. Paul George twirling his finger, asking for a challenge 30 seconds into the game on a ball that deflects out of bounds.
He might have been right, but it's too early.
Come on, buddy. What is going on? Low value challenge there. Yeah, like 30 seconds, second possession of the game. Challenge this random out of bounds call. I just thought that was funny. Players want to challenge every call. That one was pretty good. And then the funniest thing we saw tonight, Adem Bona running 3 times up and down the court with one shoe on.
Oh, yeah.
And then at the end,
go ahead.
At the end, the way he's posting up and the way he was
trying to seal or just defend
one of the
Evan
two.
Mobley.
Somebody was trying to post him up. Mobley.
He was fronting him. He fronted him. That's what he did. He was fronting him.
And he puts his sock is closer to the baseline, and he skates like he was on the Flyers.
The ice is under the floor, everybody.
That was unbelievable. Adem Bona just, again, and Legler said it on the broadcast. He was like, yeah, he was actually playing pretty good with one shoe.
Yeah,
I've never seen a player play that long with one shoe on. So that was pretty funny.
That is funny, man.
I'm happy he didn't get hurt on that slip too, man.
Yeah.
Just could have done a split.
Just their luck. Yeah, you're not kidding. You're not kidding. Quentin Grimes, Adem Bona, Paul George, all crazy stuff. Also, man, we had some candidates from Donovan Mitchell of WTF moments. He was just throwing the ball straight out of bounds. One off the backboard from half court, the one in the third row. We was like, what's going on with Donovan? What is happening here? Crazy, crazy game, and they still won this basketball game. Quickly, before we get to the Super Chats, we do want to highlight another player of the game, your second-round pick, playing for the Delaware Blue Coats. Career high, 50 points for Janai Broom, 50 points, 17 rebounds, another career high, 5 3-pointers, 18 for 34 from the floor. Wow, Janai Broom. Bring him back. Get him on the floor. No? I'm overreacting?
The Blue Coats, he's rolling down there.
That's what he's supposed to do. You let him do it down there? Okay, I got you.
I'm not picking on Janai Broom.
50 and 17.
That's G League basketball for you right there.
And they won by 15 points.
Yeah. Well, look, I think you know what? I'm not going to say it. Congrats to Janai Broom on his 50 points. Congrats. Nice guy. We interviewed him before the season.
He is a very nice guy. Very nice guy. Went nuts against the Atlanta G League team. 50 and 17 for Janai Broome with 5 threes as well. All right, let's get to the super chats. Then our roll call here. Bernard McCoy starts us off. Mad at Maxey for lack of composure, man. Oubre's defense was horrible. Grimes? Well, we just talked about Grimes. This is not a clutch team. Help me, please. Help me, please.
It's tough because I think he's asking for Grimes maybe down the stretch. Is that what you think he's looking for there? Or, I don't know.
I guess.
A little bit of a stream of consciousness super chat from Bernard.
You had to get a lot off your chest, Bernard. We get it. I'm out on Nurse, by the way. Need a new voice. It's obvious.
Well,
there's still
maybe at the end of the year.
Yeah,
but
he's going to get the year.
He's going to get 42 more games or whatever it is.
Yeah. Mark Jackson. Thank you, by the way, Bernard. Mark Jackson says, "Do you agree? We just don't know how to close out important close games yet. We are in January. This is a skill that is vital in the playoffs. They have 42 games. They've had a lot, as I said to Kyle Rich. They lose these games in different ways, man. These close games. They win some close ones, but they also lose those that are very frustrating."
Yeah, the takeaway I think is interesting there because if you look at the stats on the full year, they're still above average in net rating and clutch time. They're above average in the fourth quarter as well. I do wonder if having Embiid involved, if those numbers have dropped a little bit when you add him back, because I don't think anybody would argue that, let's say over the past month, even as Joel has started to look better, there have been a few games where, the crunch time offense, it needs a little bit of work. But I will say this, after last game, I said, hey, look, Cleveland shut down their offense for the most part, but this is good. Joel continues to play, so the bad games are put on tape, and because he continues to play, they can make adjustments in real time. So your hope as a Sixers fan is that they can figure that part out. But Kyle's takeaway is a good one too. At some point, just beat somebody by 12, beat somebody by 15, and then you don't have to play these crunch time games. And this was a game that, if Jaylon Tyson was not on fire, they might have been able to win that game.
He was in a Donovan Mitchell role.
By that much.
Yeah.
But also if the Sixers didn't have as many lapses as they did on the defensive end, and if Maxey sort of held down the bench unit a little bit more, there's just a bunch of little things you can point to where if they just do it, maybe 15% better, these 3 or 4 things, that's a 12-point win, and it doesn't get that close. So part of it is when you play, I don't even know if they still played the most crunch time games in the league. I'm sure they're still up at the top. At some point, coin flip games are going to go against you. And that's sort of the way it works. And earlier in the year, it felt like more of them were going for them. They've had a couple rough ones here. So, blowing somebody out, that's an option too.
They could have. They had an 11-point lead in the going into the fourth quarter. They had an 11-point lead. Do you know what the biggest lead for Cleveland was tonight? Any guess? Bree,
2?
Any guess? 2. They lost by 2. And Quentin Grimes blew that layup. Also, I still can't believe Paul George missed that fadeaway after hitting those 2 on the baseline. Oh, man, he got perfect separation. That's his shot, and it did not fall.
Very, very annoying. He literally made a couple of those shots on the baseline. I thought this one might have been even easier.
Because it was in front of the rim.
It was in front of the rim.
Yeah. Oh, man, tough one. Schoolboy. What up, Davon? Says, first, Nick Patullo strikes again with some odd rotations. You had a problem with the rotations outside of the Dominic Barlow part?
I don't want to get on Davon, but
we didn't see...
Criticizing rotations is a big NBA fan who were mad at the coach type of thing.
Watford was out there. He scored 4 points. He had 2 buckets. Did you have any problem with his minutes? He clearly got the Jarrett McCain minutes because we asked about Jarrett McCain and if Watford would take some of those. Jarrett McCain was a DMP CD tonight, and Watford got 10-12, 2 boards, 2 assists, and 4 points.
I will say, sometimes I do hear the rotation complaint with this Sixers team, and it's how can you play this guy? And then I feel like, and I'm not even saying it's Davon, but that sometimes I hear it from other people that the guys that you might want to put in one night is, hey, put Grimes in the game. We go back a couple weeks ago. People are like, how is Grimes closing games right now? So I do think their closing lineup, that's a decent question. They need to figure out some of the I think the perfect example is they played Bona, and they played Jabari Walker, in the first quarter, at the end of the first quarter, and it was basically just Maxey out there with Grimes and whatever.
And Oubre.
And it was a disaster. And you look at that lineup, and it's not great spacing. And there's two things there. I think, number one, I don't think I'd like to see that lineup in a playoffs. Like, I think I'd like to see more shooting out there. In a regular season, just trying to buy 2 minutes at the end of the first quarter, I would hope Maxey would be able to handle that. And I think most nights he will be able to handle that. But tonight was not one of those nights. So I don't know. I think rotations, I think you got to be a little bit more specific. There are certainly things you can point at, but I don't know. On this Sixers team, again, there's a lot of guys that run hot and cold. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, and he points out, Davon, that 3 unplayable players on the bench instead
why
of
do you care about rotations if 3 guys are unplayable on the
wing
bench?
and front court depth, 2 old guys for morale, and a 47-year-old rookie with the Stephen A. Smith hairline who just dropped 50 in the G League. So there's that.
I mean, sure.
I mean, you're not playing. Look, but we've talked about this at the beginning of the season. Kyle, Derek, and Rich have all pointed out, why do you have both Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon on your roster if you're not going to play them? They're just there for, as Davon said, for morale. And Justin Edwards is no longer playable. Andre Drummond did not get the call tonight. Bona did. Bona played well. And Jared McCain did not get the call. So
look, over these last 42 games, if people are talking about Jared McCain, I don't think Jared McCain has really earned minutes right now, but he's got to find a way to get him back on the court at some point. And I'm going to hold Nick Nurse to that at some point. Doesn't have to be tomorrow. Doesn't have to be Monday's game against Indiana or on this homestand. But I would like to see Jared McCain at some point. I mean, hey, why don't you put him in the G League and let him see the ball go through the hoop like Janai Broom saw tonight?
last time he was there, he really didn't do anything. But this is different, though, because this is weeks now from that, so I don't have a problem with it. But when Kyle asked Nick Nurse about that at practice on Thursday, he said not yet.
If he's not going to play, I think you should let him, go down there for a few games. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
I have to check and see if the Blue Coats play this weekend. Maybe he can get a little bit of run this weekend while the Sixers are, in fact, off. All right, that'll do it for us here on the PHLY Sixers postgame show. Sixers fall 117-115. If I said to you all that they would be 4 games over 500 through 40 games, would you accept that?
I think that's around where
that's where they're going to be. They're
going to be. If you told me Embiid was rounding into form now,
win team and right there in the mix with everybody else.
I do, and I think they have a chance to be better than.
And if that's the case,
8 games above 500 at the end of the year, I think they do.
If that's the case, then they might be in that position because they're 4 games where they can't close out games, as everybody's talking about, as we talked with Kyle about, as Bernard and Davon are bringing up. If over these next 42 they start to figure that out, then maybe we were talking about 6 to 8 games over 500 and a favorable seed for them in the Eastern Conference first round, where they're not in the play-in, but at the 6 seed, maybe they can play a 3, or at the 5 seed, they can play a 4, where they feel like they can beat that particular team at that point of the season going into the playoffs. So there's that. They're above 500, and they are 4 games above 500. It's not bad, all things considered, for what we've seen from this team so far.
Got it a little bit on the roller coaster. That's the definition of being around 500, right?
Yeah.
You mostly win 1 and lose 1. But yeah, they need to get it back going a little bit here. I do think if they get this level of Joel and PG is still completely bought in and they stay reasonably healthy, I do think they're going to have like an 8-2 stretch at some point. Especially as teams start to give up, too, as the Sixers did last year. You're going to run into a few of those teams in February and March and April. I do think they have one of those stretches in them. It's just frustrating right now. I understand that was a frustrating loss, but there are things that I've seen over this week that they can build on moving forward. It's on them to do it. And the big thing is for them, man, they just got to start blowing some teams out. I think when you have a good night and you're executing and you're taking Donovan Mitchell
Put
out
them
of the
away.
game, you got to get up by 20 on some of these teams. And my hope is that they'll be able to do that. Still a lot of time to get there. Very
early, but I just want to say this. Last year, the 6 seed was the Detroit Pistons, 44 wins. The year before, 23-24, the Sixers were the 7 seed. If you remember, they got in, played the Knicks. They were the 7 seed. They were tied with Orlando and Indiana at 47 games. So 44 last year, as the 6th seed, and 47 the year before, where they were tied with two other teams for that right. And in 22-23, 45 with Brooklyn as the 6th seed. So
got to pick it up
right around
a little bit.
43, 44, that should get you that 6th seed, maybe even a little bit higher in this particular Eastern Conference this year, because as we've talked about, while Detroit is head and shoulders above everyone else, there's not really one that everybody's stamped in on of, I'm scared of them, that kind of thing. So maybe they don't want to play the Sixers in the playoffs when you get there. You never know. Might be the hot team going in, and those teams don't want to play the Sixers. It's time for the world famous. It's the roll call on a Friday night. Well, we're headed to the weekend. This is the first weekend off for all of us in a while, right? We haven't had a weekend off. Bree is over here clapping everybody.
He's
you hear
clapping it up back there.
Yeah, now, Colin, Derek are probably going to be at practice tomorrow. Unfortunately, I can't tomorrow. I have something pre-scheduled, so I won't be at practice tomorrow, but we have a weekend off. It's the roll call. Let's say thank you to Terrence Knights, Fusion, rights to Pepe Sanchez. Big Pepe Sanchez fan. He still shouldn't have been traded with Theo Ratliff in that deal.
Was Pepe in that deal?
Him, Tony Kukoc, Theo Ratliff.
Okay. I remember he was on those teams.
Yeah, he was on those teams. We got Mark Jackson with the Super Chat. Thank you so much, Mark, with the Super Chat. While we're at it, we might as well say thank you to Bernard McCoy and Davon, a.k.a. Schoolboy Beast, for all the Super Chats from you, gang. We really appreciate that. Jack Reacher. We're ready for Jack Reacher 3, the movie. All of us, cameos. We can do the podcast in the movie while you're trying to save people and stay incognito. Just call us. It is what it is. Appreciate it, Jack Reacher. We also had all the network here on the show tonight. We appreciate it. I saw Val, Jess, and Nona, and Jazz. Thank you, ladies. As always, we really appreciate it. My mom was in there, so we talk about the ladies. Hey, Mom. Saw Mom. Straw Hat Sympathizer. It's a new one?
That is a new one.
What up, Straw Hat? We're not wearing those on the show. The helmets last year were enough. We're not wearing those. We also have Mr. Midrange. Thank you to Mr. Midrange. Black Moses. Always love when Matt Black Moses blesses us here on the show to hang out with us. Noob, Rich P. What up?
What up, guys?
What up, gang? Appreciate you guys checking in. Also, we had in here, I did not write everybody's name down, so I'm scrolling through here. Bree, got any other ones? Sean Comp, Danny Merlino in here as well. And we had Music Lover play that music, Yams, as well. Thank you so much, everybody, for checking in here with us on the show tonight. We know it was a frustrating series after a really good road trip, taking 2 of 3 from the Raptors and the Orlando Magic. But 42 games left in the season. Everything will be good. F. Chillaxin, I see you. Thank you so much, everybody. Make sure you like and subscribe to the show. Larry K., what up? Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and when you do, you also hit the bell icon. Oh, we left it in the other studio.
Ding.
Ding. And that will alert you that it is, in fact, showtime here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. We'll be back on Monday, 6:30 pregame, Sixers-Pacers, front end of a double header. You got a back-to-back there.
Ooh.
Back-to-back. Pacers-Suns at home.
Suns are playing hard.
Suns
man.
are good. Colin Gillespie bringing the Suns to town. They didn't know. We had to tell him, hey, man, he can play. Denver let him go. Phoenix didn't play him last year. Now he's a starting point guard on that basketball team, playing pretty well. So we'll be here 6:30 pregame. Rich, Bree, myself. So for Kyle, Derek, and great job, Bree, as always. Thank you so much. And Rich, good to hang out with you, my friend. We'll see you on Monday, 6:30, right here on the PHLY Sixers podcast. Have a great weekend.
We all silly like the mayor.